Welcome to Holidays at Harmony Hills Home and Garden. I'm Jenny, and today we are making more Christmas ornaments for our Christmas tree. Today's project is using pressed flowers and glass frames to make these beautiful ornaments to hang onto a garden-themed Christmas tree. Come with me and let's talk about how to do pressed flower ornaments. Back in the summertime, actually this was early fall, I think around the middle of October or so, I went through the garden and I picked out flowers that I wanted to try to press. The easiest way to do it is just to take your flowers and put them inside the pages of a book. I'm using some old gardening books here. I'm doing some salvia, some lantana. I think I have some super bells here, maybe some verbena. I forget what else. Whatever was in bloom in mid-October, I think, is what got pressed into these books. What you want to do is lay them down and kind of situate them in the way that you hope that they will be facing when they're done. And just press them. Couldn't be any easier, really. You can, of course, put more than one page worth into one book. The lantanas started to fall apart, so I stopped fiddling with those too much. And I ended up using two more old garden books. Here are some vinca flowers that I did, more salvia and more lantana. These were asters that were blooming beautifully. Some pansies, purple and maroon. I had some feverfew, and this turned out really well too. And once I was done pressing them into the books, I just put a heavy weight on top of them. This is my canister of flour. In the beginning, the flowers make the book pages get all wobbly, but as you do more and more, they flatten out. Here, you see that I ended up doing a lot more. I did some juniper, some holly, arborvitae, some other evergreens, and you can see how some of them are super, super thick, and others of them are quite thin. And some of them I used some scrap paper instead of just the book pages. Now, I've also done this with old phone books, but do we really even have phone books around anymore? About 2 months later, it was time to check on them and see. I don't think they really take 2 months, but they won't hurt if they stay in there. I think probably a month is probably good enough. And so it's time to take them out. And as you can see, the ivy that I put in there did really well. So did the hosta flowers. And they come out, of course, paper thin, very delicate. It's such an amazing way to preserve memories from your garden. Now these are some thicker juniper leaves, I believe, and so they have quite a bit of thickness to them compared to, say, the hosta flowers, but they still work nicely. Actually, those look like they're arborvitae, and then next came the juniper and some Leland cypress, looks like. The holly that I preserved didn't do as well. It was quite thick, and it got a very dark color on it. So that was a little bit less successful than some of the other evergreens. So we're going to speed this up here. These were bleeding hearts that didn't do very well. They didn't hold their color, but the salvias held their color very nicely. Using some tweezers here because they're just so delicate, and I didn't have enough fingernails to get them up off the pages very easily. The tweezers are a really nice tool to have. Here's some yarrow fronds. Those turned out really nicely. And some more evergreens here. Ended up taking out the scrap paper from between the books, and lavender, yew, more arborvitae, more yarrow. Just a really nice collection of things. More ivy, some nandina, blue mist shrub, more yew. That turned out really well. And then here finally are the flowers I did first. The pansies, the feverfew, some violas, the vinca, more salvia, the asters. I did a couple of hydrangea heads, some anemones, whichever way that goes. Asters, more salvia. These were beautiful flowers. All in all, I was really pleased with how everything came out. I love the lantana, the way it came out, both the full head and the individual flowers. I like them both. The anemones look really sweet. The asters turned out good, even if they are having a bad hair day. That one lantana head turned kind of brown. Violas looking great, pansies looking great. Feverfew turned out nicely. Salvias look wonderful. I forget what that frothy looking thing is. More salvia, some verbena, some hydrangea, more asters, more salvia. What a really good collection. Lots of foliage and some beautiful purple flowers. Hosta flowers there, ivy, nandina, juniper, arborvitae, leyland cypress, holly. We've got some lavender, some yarrow, yew, just so many nice things. I'm using these hexagon-shaped glass frames that I purchased off of Amazon. I'll put a link in the description box down below to create my Christmas tree ornaments. I open up the frame and then I just use the pressed flowers to make a beautiful arrangement. There's really no rhyme nor reason. You just pick what you like, what looks pretty to you, put it in there. Make sure it all fits within the gold edges of the frame, and then just close the frame up. That's all there is to it. Now, I have also seen people using pressed flowers on ornaments by decoupaging them onto a surface of something. I've also seen them pressed into air-dry clay and then sealed into that. So there's multiple ways you can use dried flowers in your Christmas decorating to make ornaments, but this is the method I'm choosing. I have 12 of these frames, so I'm having a whole lot of fun making these little kind of two-dimensional flat flower arrangements inside these frames. I think it's worth noting that to close them up, you need to make sure that you don't put too many items inside the frame. The yew shrub there had a quite thick stem, and so I had to take that one apart and rebuild it with a trimming taken off of the yew shrub. But otherwise, they're pretty easy to work with. I did find that if you don't put enough into them, then they slide around. But I found that if I just filled the frame with a pleasing arrangement, then in general, it was enough flowers to keep them from sliding, but it was few enough that it would definitely close without any trouble. I'm speeding up the footage here because it's kind of, tedious to watch, but I just had so much fun making each of these little tiny arrangements. If you haven't yet, I highly recommend that you press some flowers from your garden next growing season. So I'm using these as Christmas ornaments on my Christmas tree. They're about 3 inches across, maybe almost 4 inches across. But you could definitely also hang these on the wall. There's nothing saying that they have to be hung from a Christmas tree. Also, you can find available for sale larger frames, different shaped frames, ones intended to be wall hanging. So really the sky's the limit with regard to this style of displaying your pressed flowers. I think after Christmas I will be hanging mine onto the wall, maybe in the sunroom, maybe I don't know where, but I think it'll make a nice pretty wall hanging. Now to prepare them for hanging on the Christmas tree, I'm using some wire-edged ribbon here. I'm just going to put the folded edge through the loop and then bring the tails through that folded edge loop there and pull that tight. And so that makes a nice, sturdy, not going anywhere ribbon to hang from. And then I just do an overhand knot up at the top, and that creates a loop for hanging onto the limb of a Christmas tree. You can use any ribbon, you can use yarn, string, wire, whatever you want. I was just going for a little bit of gold sparkle here. And here they are on the Christmas tree. I apologize for the glare on the glass as I was trying to film. It's difficult to film glass, as you know. I couldn't be happier with the way all of these ornaments turned out, and I have so many pressed flowers left to do other things with, so I'm going to be on the lookout for crafts using pressed flowers. Have you done pressed flowers? And if so, what have you done with them? And have you made any ornaments for your Christmas tree this year? Let me know in the comment section down below what you're getting up to, and let's chat about it. Thank you so much for watching today. I hope you enjoyed what you saw, and I hope that I will see you again in another video real soon. Take care, friends. Bye-bye.